Hello, it's Peter Wright and Kathleen Beauvais with another episode of the weekly roundup on the Yakking Show, where we let you know what's going on this week. And of course, it's the week ending the 5th of July, 2024. But first, let's welcome co-host Kathleen. Hi, Kathleen. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Peter. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good. It's warming up after a couple of cold days.
Mhm.
It's crazy. We went yesterday morning from me having to put a sweater on, the house was so cold, to putting my air conditioner on in my bedroom last night. I mean, in the course of one
Unbelievable.
day.
Yeah,
Crazy. Anyway,
it is.
I'm not complaining. I'd rather have it warm than too cold. So we are in an auspicious week. It is the Independence Day, 4th of July in the USA today,
Yes.
and it's also the general election in the United Kingdom today. And it looks almost certain that the Conservatives will be kicked out. But it'll be very interesting to see if Labour gets a majority or if there will be a coalition between the Conservatives and the new upstart Reform Party, led by Nigel Farage, who was the guiding light and the main crusader for Brexit a few years ago. So interesting times for people in the UK. So let's tell you what happened this week. Oh, but before we go, Kathleen, have you got a feline fact for our cat lovers?
I do. I do. For those of you who
Let's
are interested,
let's have it.
apparently, the U.S. President Abraham Lincoln was a great lover of cats and owned two named Tabby and Dixie. According to legend, Lincoln once stated, "Dixie is smarter than my whole cabinet."
I wonder if certain other politicians have cats.
I don't know.
Let's not go down that road at the moment. So let's tell you who we had on the Yakking Show this week. On Tuesday, it was Jill Sitnick. Very interesting talk she gave us and discussion on the uses of MDMA for psychotherapy, psychologically assisted care. And she was particularly talking about its use in overcoming symptoms of PTSD. And she went on this experimental treatment herself as a result of childhood abuse and has had really good results with it. So
Mhm.
anyone who's looking for other options for therapy, it's worth watching that video. It's episode 316. Kathleen, any insights from your side?
Well, it is controversial, and I know, Peter, you had some concerns about it, but she
Sure,
really explained herself well, and it's helped. The bottom line, it's helped.
sure.
So how can you deny that? You'd have
I
to
agree.
listen for the details. So you have to listen to the episode
Sure.
to get all the details about that.
Oh, absolutely. Who's coming next week? Next week we have Tom Palladino, who is an expert on the use of scalar light to solve or to help you live a healthier and more wholesome life. This is a little technical, but took me a while to get my head around it. I'm not going to give too much away. You really need to watch that episode. Preferably watch on the video. You can listen to the audio, but you'll get more benefits seeing his equipment and that on the video. Week after it will be Patrick Ehlers, and he is an expert on overcoming sex and porn addiction.
Mm.
And this is a phenomenon, particularly addiction to pornography has got exponentially worse since the advent of the internet. Before
Mm.
that, it was not a major problem. So anyone with concerns in that area, and he also has some advice for parents and children. The following week will be Audrey Sides, Andrea Sides, who is a mystic, and she's coming up on the week after that. And then to round off our fourth week into the future will be Nancy Becker coming back for a return visit to our show. She talks about invisible illnesses and how they affect women more than men, and how they are a huge problem for women trying to get ahead in life. So that's our lineup for the next few weeks. Let me talk about our featured author for the week, and that is Jill Sitnick, our guest from this week on Tuesday. And she has a book called Rescuing Jill, and it talks about her journey from suffering really badly from PTSD
Mhm.
to being cured and then she has a workbook that goes along with that. There'll be a link in the newsletter for that.
Mhm.
And then I know that Kathleen wants to talk about the health side, but before I let her do that, let me just tell you that we are now able to list our videos on Spotify in addition to the audios. So starting with episode 2 weeks ago with Stephanie Wynn, and last week's and this week's with Jill, they are now on Spotify as video and audio, and all our future ones will be going on there, which means you can either watch the video or listen to the audio on Spotify if that's your favorite platform. And they have quite a nice setup that when you go to the episode, you can choose either audio or video right away. You don't have to go to a different platform. So I thought that was quite useful.
Mhm.
And then some of you may have noticed we have been pushing out quite a few shorts of our recent guests uh, every day or so on social media. And we are using an app called Spiker Studio, which we find very, very useful. And it's quick and easy to produce those little snippets, shorts, clips, whatever you want to call them. There's a link to that in the website as well. And I think that's it for me. So over to you for the health side, Kathleen.
Well, Peter, today I'd like to talk to everybody about how customized B vitamin therapy could help Parkinson's patients. So there's a team of Japanese scientists that have uncovered an unexpected link between the gut and the brain. So in this published study, it suggests that vitamin B deficiency may contribute to Parkinson's development by compromising the intestinal barrier, which typically prevents toxins from entering the bloodstream. So
Mhm.
toxins in the bloodstream may lead to neuroinflammation, which is inflammation in the nervous system. So the study also found fewer genes in Parkinson's patients' gut bacteria responsible for making B2 and B7. So both have anti-inflammatory properties and may help counteract the neuroinflammation associated with Parkinson's disease.
Mm.
So this suggests that B vitamin supplementation could potentially relieve Parkinson's symptoms and even slow disease progression, right?
Wow.
Yeah, interesting. So while no vitamins, they say, or nutrients can cure Parkinson's disease, several may help alleviate symptoms or reduce risks. And some of those include vitamin D, so it may reduce the risk of developing the condition, omega-3 fatty acids, so they're anti-inflammatory, and they're found in fatty fish, such as salmon, flax seeds, and even walnuts. There's vitamin E, which is an antioxidant that may protect against neurodegeneration and reduce oxidative stress. There's magnesium, which may alleviate symptoms like muscle cramping and rigidity. And of course, we just talked about B vitamin supplementation that may also help with, such as B12 in this case, help with fatigue and cognitive decline. They also talk about curcumin, which is found in turmeric, that may
Hmm.
protect the dopamine producing neurons. And resveratrol, found in grapes, berries, and peanuts, may reduce oxidative stress. And finally, but not least, selenium, which is
Hmm.
associated with higher blood levels, associated with reduced Parkinson's risk. And of course, we always encourage everyone that if you want to start supplementation, that you should consult a healthcare professional.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And before we get off health, when you have you finished? Because I want to add something in on health as well. So,
Okay. So the next thing that I want to give a plug to once again is Dr. Morris's Heal All Tea. This tea is just amazing. It's really a general maintenance, and it assists the body's natural detoxification process. It's formulated with wonderful things such as burdock, dandelion, and slippery elm, and it makes a great digestive tea. It's actually very tasty. So it's not a tea is awful to the taste. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's mild, and it has great healing potential. So that's what I want to say about, and we will actually provide a link to
mhm.
get this Heal All tea.
We will indeed. And as another incentive for you, we will provide a coupon code so you can get a 5% discount with your order on Heal All Tea. And my order's on the way. I ordered my resupply last week. I've been without for a while, so from hopefully in a day or two, I'll get my new supply and I can get back onto it. But I have something I want to talk about on health, and I was a bit concerned, as you know, Kathleen. I was concerned about my weight. Not that I'm particularly overweight, but it's all settled around my middle, and I believe it's an age problem and whatever. But it was worrying me. So I've been eating healthily for quite a while, but I've even tightened up my diet even more, eating very little carbohydrate. And that wasn't enough. So I started doing exercises in the morning. I walk every day, 5 kilometers every weekday morning, 5 days a week, and I work hard at weekends physically with wood and that. So it's not as if I'm idle, but I realized I needed more. And then I've been reading about how weight-bearing exercise increases bone density in men as well as women, right? So we always thought loss of bone was a female problem, but not. Many men suffer from brittle bones. So I started doing push-ups and what do you call them? Press-ups and sit-ups every morning.
Push-ups
and
sit-ups, yeah.
Push-ups, yeah. I started doing that every morning, and I started it while I went and did 10 the first day, and next day I could hardly bend. My stomach was so sore. So I cut back to 5, and I worked my way up. And then I read that one shouldn't go more than about 40, because after 40 you start not doing it properly and maybe overdoing it. So I do 40 of each first thing when I get back from my walk in the morning. And I have noticed a significant drop, not a big weight loss, but a drop in the fat around my middle, and I can go back into my smaller size pants, which is a great help. And my pants don't fall off anymore as bad, well, not as badly as they used to. So big advantage. And that's leading me up to say to you, if you're listening or watching this, that if you have a problem trying to do exercises, we had a very interesting guest back in September on the show, Bobby Aldridge. He was episode number 274. And he's come up with a system to improve your mobility, your overall fitness, and it helps with, as a form of weight bearing exercise, very quick and easy exercises. And he has a special yoga mat with blocks on it and a couple of other things. It's all very inexpensive. And it's worth watching that episode to see how he exercises inside his house. You don't need to go to a gym. And it's just little exercises you can do to help your mobility and your overall fitness. So I thought that was worth a mention. There'll be a link to that in the newsletter. Yeah. Do you remember Bobby? He was good, wasn't he?
He was very good. Yeah. Yeah. And he's had a lot of athletes that he's helping athletes gain lots of strength. And so, I mean, his system works for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, I thought that was worth mentioning today because it's important to keep healthy, as we know.
Yes.
And while I've got the floor as it was, make sure you don't miss out on our interesting list of guests coming up. As you heard in the show, we got some really good ones. Hop onto the website, yakkingshow.com, and sign up for our newsletter. We just send you one a week. We tell you who's on this week, who's coming next week. That's it from me. Thanks, everyone.
Well, that's it from me as well. So until next week, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.